Hello, I'm Charlene of the Rainbow Frequency, and today we're coming in to discuss the energies of this eclipse season. It has been, I've been saying this, I think, every single time. It has been quite the arduous journey of healing, of digging deep into our souls, and perhaps doing that shadow work. Some of us have been having what is known as the dark night of the soul. And that happens in waves or cycles. It's not just one round, get up and everything's peachy. No, it's like that labyrinth symbol, in, out, back again, 7 times, depending on how much you've incurred along the way. Our relationships have been going through the ringer, so to speak. It's a lot of hashing it out, really getting honest with one another, and perhaps really voicing where we've been wounded. Because as psychic as a lot of us are, one of our biggest problems is we go around expecting everyone to know what we're thinking and feeling, but they're going through their own shit. So it's really hard when you're empathic to always keep straight who's feeling what's real, what is just been whipped up into a frenzy, because our biggest shortcoming as human beings is that we're insecure. Number one problem, insecurity. That doubt, that shaming ourselves, that being overly critical. And I just got Sonic Youth's washing machine in my head, and it's just, we're in that washing machine cycle. It's like the centrifuge from hell. That's really a beautiful process of flinging out the toxins. If you want, energetically, I'm helping you. Physically, if you choose to accept, clear out the toxins from your aura, from your physical body, your energetic body, every part. I'm here to be a facilitator, to help you help yourself. But tell me you don't feel that. I'm waving at all of you, by the way. I'm feeling it. So if I'm feeling it, I'm hoping you're feeling it. Because again, I'm that gateway, the facilitator. Deep breath. In through your nose. Hold it momentarily. And exhale. If you want, do this with me. Grow your roots down, starting from your waist, down your abdomen, pelvis, hips, groin, thighs, knees, shins, calves, ankles, and feet, down through all surfaces, all layers of the earth, till they reach the underground caves. There they slip in to the crystalline pools and connect with the crystalline grid. Give thanks for this connection, and then your roots go down further still, intertwining to form a cord that wraps around the core of the earth. You give thanks for this support, and in exchange, all this elemental support comes back up through your roots, opening and activating your lower energy centers. Deep breath in, hold it momentarily, and as you exhale, your abdomen, torso, and chest form into the trunk of a tree, arms raised, fingers splayed, You stretch upward, branches reaching up through the clouds, up through the atmosphere, until you break through to the cosmos. There you connect to the Celestine grid, and then your branches travel further still until they wrap around the center of the cosmos. You give thanks for this support, and in exchange, celestial light travels back down from the heavens, encircling you in a sacred sphere, a sacred circle of loving, supportive energy. You are grounded, you are centered, you are protected. The energies of above and below now flow through you as they should, in, out, back again, like blood through the chambers of the Sacred Heart. See yourself in your tree body. Feel the centeredness, the connectivity, the security, the nourishment that flows through you, the love of all that there is available to support you. Wrap yourself up in this loving cocoon, sealing it in so you can carry it forward. It is my intention to help you in your highest good in a way that delights you, mind, body, and spirit, to holistically thrive as your best possible self. Now, deep breath in, hold it momentarily, and then come back all the way into your body, feeling revitalized, rebalanced, and restored for your perfect equilibrium. Start to wiggle your fingers and toes, scrunch the muscles of your face, and when you're ready, open your eyes. I hope you enjoyed that. I know I did. Meditation is the first step to connecting with your intuition and the other energies that surround, that would love to connect and support you. They already are, whether you want to acknowledge it or not. It's just a matter of being open to receive fully, in my opinion. All right, let's check in. This is the Moon Oracle by Carolyn Smith and John Astrop. Let's check in with the moon to see what we're feeling. Because there are lots of elements swirling around us, and we're feeling it. I mean, we're all capable of being empaths. It's just a matter of, again, acknowledging what you're picking up. Psychic abilities, it's really just the ability to be perceiving more of the spectrum that surrounds, is one definition. All right. Well, black moon, earth, dormant, economy. If that isn't timely as all get out. You know, the economy, it's interesting right now. But really and truly, I firmly believe we are moving into the Aquarian age, as a lot of people are aware of and conscious of. We're leaving one cycle, one era, one age behind and moving forward. Anytime we're going through big change, it's uncomfortable because it's unfamiliar. Everything around us, the structures, the way that we've formulated our existence is starting to need to be augmented in many, many, many different areas, from healthcare to education. And it's when a lot of times we meet that crisis point that breakthroughs happen. So as much as it is a doozy and a bitch and a half to be going through this is very, very, very important work that we're all, if we are willing to get up out of the victim mode and the pity party and really pool ourselves together, we have a chance here to do some really great stuff. So personally, I'm trying to be as proactive and positive and beneficial to my environment as I possibly can, even when sometimes I get irritated, resentful, really sucked down into the moment, because I mean, I am a human being, as psychic as I am, as much as I can meditate and connect and feel that lovely peace when I come back into the moment in the here and now. There are moments when it makes me want to scream. And I'm sorry, you can't just it is what it is it and move on and be healthy. You have to acknowledge, you have to take that moment sometimes to scream. You know, really, you shouldn't scream at someone else perhaps, but, you know, take a moment, step away, and then whew, you feel better. You know, also dancing. Whenever I feel really down, dance. All right. Black moon air. What does the card say? There is no visible moon in the sky during this phase. Her luminous face is turned away from the earth, and only at this time of an eclipse, wow, because we are in eclipse season, can you see that she's still there? Traditionally, this is a period when nothing good happens. It is the time to revise your ideas and consider the direction your life is taking. All right, Moon in Gemini. Even the most active and able mind must take time to rest, replenish, and recoup for the challenges ahead. Pause a while. Above all, engage in no rash actions during this time. Moon in Libra. This is often the most difficult time to make decisions. Rather than attempting to do so, it is better to wait as long as it takes for divine inspiration to take the matter out of your hands. Moon in Aquarius. The desire to do something different, wild or even outrageous, is strong. Resist the impulse and for a while stick to the rules and relax. Yeah, a couple days ago was ready to sell my house and head for the hills because I was so frustrated and irritated at circumstances that I didn't know what else to do. And that was what I grew up with, is having a parent that was their MO. So I had to stop, really talk it out. And you just, sometimes you feel stuck. You feel like you're in that crossroads, and that fight or flight, or just, sometimes it gets to the point where you're just so exhausted because it's been years of this. Years. Well, but the caterpillar has to go through the process. And I'm sure there are moments where they're like, oh my God, can we just rush this along to get to the butterfly and the loveliness? But it's just, in alchemy and developing oysters, pearls, when you're growing anything, you can't rush the process. You can't, like the old adage, you can't rip up the carrot to see how it's going before it's really come to fruition, because then it's wasted. So it's just, we're in eclipse season. We just had a partial solar eclipse. Next up, we have I don't know if it's a partial, I believe it's a partial lunar eclipse. I believe November 9th is the date. I can't keep everything straight in my brain. Dates. Anyway, so we're in it. We're going through some revelations. Eclipses, one of my favorite ways of talking about them is saying that they're sideways elevators, where it is a bit of that tower moment sometimes, where things will come crumbling down, where the foundation wasn't stable or really in our best interest, so that something better can come in. And a lot of times when we're in that stage, we're just, woe is me, oh my God, I can't believe this is happening. But a lot of times after those moments, when you see it from the other side, you're like, that was pretty brutal, but it got me where I needed to go, and I'm grateful. Again, gratitude attitude makes a world of difference. And economy. One way to consider that is we're really needing to be aware of our energy, where it goes, how we're affected by people, places, and things, because it's really like, we've been in a lot of around the world a culture of go, 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 do, do, do. If I'm not succeeding, that like desperate for success and surviving, to where we drain the ever-loving heck out of ourselves, and then we're unhealthy. A lot of times in many different areas, we're constantly looking for an external fix, whether that's a medication, lots of different things. We're always looking externally for something, when it's really, in my opinion, it's an inside job. You have to go in, you have to really sit with yourself and confront all the parts and pieces of you that have incurred wounds along the way. A lot of time in life, we start having experiences with our families and a lot of times, a lot of wounds come in from our school age, and then right on up. And, we have that, a lot of us, that suck it up buttercup, let's just keep going and pretend like it didn't really hurt us. And then you're riddled with all these holes or festering spots that you get to a point, hopefully, where you realize it, and then you seek ways to let it go and help yourself heal, so that you can be more at peace inside and out. So that's why I'm here. That's why I do these things, so that you can hopefully take a little pressure off, acknowledge where your wounds might be, so then you can work to process them. All right. 24. And I am waving at you all. Hello, hello, hello. And I really do appreciate you being here. I try to just all this out for you because I have to go to work. So I just bear with me as I spew forth information at you. All right, so Aura Light 24, and then after it 23, the Soul Connector. Aura Light 23 has a sedative effect on the mind, stilling it so that profound healing and conscious connection with your soul, the universal mind, and the higher dimensions occur. Self-understanding. You are a multi-layered soul on a course of accelerated spiritual growth. You came to Earth to share your knowledge. You have an ability to move between dimensions to anchor new vibrations into the Earth plane. The slowness and seeming impossibility of this task has brought disillusionment and discontent, but do not despair. Raise your own consciousness, and others will follow. The divination. Recognize that you are an integral part of humanity. Center yourself in inner peace and connect to your higher mind before making decisions. Beneficial contacts come through friends and family. It is not so much that you know as whom that counts now, and that includes higher beings. Let's read that one again. It is not so much what you know as whom that counts now, and that includes higher beings. Wow, that's powerful. Healing insight. Aligning to as above, so below, as without, so within, leads to a sense of rightness and immense well-being. Soul path, reconnection of ego, soul and higher consciousness, which is, again, this card speaks of really going within and listening. Listen to your heart and soul. Listen to those higher frequencies that are there to support you. Like, I turned to doing tarot readings and rune readings and different things when I was 15. I'm 44 now. And it was because I was in a traumatic environment that I needed to have solace and clarity. So then I started doing this stuff for myself and journaling, and I never really considered at 15 what I was connecting to. I just knew it made me feel better. And there was always love available if I went looking for it, even if I felt like I was very much alone. So it was just, for me, a coping skill to keep myself sane. And then, doing it now professionally, it's just like, the reason I do so many different decks and different cards is because it really reinforces the message along the way. And I'm like, well, I can't doubt when the same thing is being said at random. Like, wow, that's amazing. Thanks. Because as humans, we doubt so much, even when we're hearing the comfort and what we need. We're like, psh, psh, psh. So anyway, hello. Pick up some cards, get some different decks, see what happens. All right. Now, I'll do a little tarot for a little roadmap to help us where we are currently. I will also tell you, for the longest time, because of my upbringing, I avoided religion like it was the plague. I really did. And I didn't trust God. I thought God was this genie that if I didn't word it just so, it would bite me in the ass. And I realized along the way that it was my interaction with human beings that caused me to have that feeling of distrust, and then I had to apologize to the higher powers that be, because it wasn't them that hurt me, but I pushed them away. I mean, we were so funny, the things we do to ourselves because we think we know, but really, I truly do believe that we all have that connection within ourselves to join to the universal energy that and I hope you don't take this the wrong way, but when I think of God, I think of the governing order of divine source energy. It's just this genderless, creative, loving force. And we all, if we still our minds and center ourselves, have the ability to connect to that. It just takes time, discipline, and willingness to open your mind up. And the self-healing journey is not easy. It is really, truly an arduous, uncomfortable process that you have to break down to rebuild yourself in a way. But it's connecting to that universal love that's available and being open to really trust it, that beautiful recovery can happen. And some people do it by themselves. Some people like having a facilitator like me to make it so that you don't feel so alone, and you have somebody as a sounding board to help you process, because when you go to a reader, or anyone for that matter, it isn't about them telling you everything about yourself. They're there to be the mirror, the echoing voice that reinforces what you're already feeling for yourself. All right, we got bottom of the deck, King of Crystals, which is the Pentacles. Pentacles are the material plane. Now in tarot, it's all about a journey, a building process. So the King is the highest point in the suit, which is to say that we're really working on gaining mastery over ourselves in our physical plane, in our physical world, really coming to terms what helps us feel secure and stable, what we want to be bringing forth from our existence here in the world. Why am I here? How am I going to impact the world so it doesn't forget me? Am I right? That's what a lot of people kind of get to, where they're all stressed out because they're like, I only have so much time. What am I going to do? What am I here for? And it's just, we certainly in the last few years have had to do some deep inner reflecting of our priorities and what is important to us. And again, we're moving from an era where it was us versus them, all about my survival, and I don't care who I step on to get there. And my dialogues with many different people, we're starting to see a shift in the business world where companies are starting to realize that it's more important to be heart-centered and caring about our employees and wanting sustainable reciprocal relationships. Now, it isn't happening everywhere overnight, but just like in the 90s when we started caring about the environment, it's a slow ripple that builds. Haddo, the concept that everything moves in a wave-like motion. And I personally, I'm excited to be that surfer riding that wave into a more equanimity-based environment where we all want to support each other and being our most authentic, best selves. Call me an idealist. Call me a dreamer. I'm a dreamer. I'm a schemer. I'm a wild lemur. Oh my God, that makes me laugh. I mean, that's the thing. Like, that's something I want you to know, is that my connection with spirit, and when I really let myself feel the other side, it is uplifting. I mean, they've been like giving me little songs to sing to myself since I was a child, and I never even thought about it. I remember one time being a little kid and staying in this foreign bedroom in England, and I could just feel everything around me, and it creeped me the hell out. So then I just started singing myself to sleep, and it made me feel better, and it was just that, like, does it always make sense? No. The connection with the other side, with the spirit world, we often think it's going to be very pragmatic human interaction, but no. I mean, when you read tales of it, it generally is very subtle. It's very bizarre, miraculous even. So just take time to meditate and connect to yourself and your heart and soul. And then when you're out in the everyday world, like this card is showing, don't get caught up in the blinders of going through the motions. Be more aware of what's around you, how you feel when in relationship, again, with people, places, and things. Sometimes you'll hear that inner dialogue. Even I sometimes will push it and then doubt it. And then I'm like, what am I doing? I'm supposed to be listening and then considering and then seeing how it comes into play, So it's just, don't go mad dashing about. Try to stay centered. And while you're juggling all that you have to juggle, the message that's coming through from this card in particular for this moment is feel it through. Feel your way forward. Not from that mental, sometimes anxious plane. Okay. Oppression is where we have our current placement in life. Again, you can't make this stuff up. A lot of us feel depressed, oppressed, stuck. We're waiting for that next. Okay, Bubba Emu, please stop. You're really irritating me. Jeffrey Dahmer, you love Jeffrey Dahmer. That's interesting. I mean, really, truly, I understand paying attention and being interested in the dark side of life because we want to learn from it. But to me, that's the evilness, that's where when people don't do their inner work, it comes out in nasty ways. So yes, I know it's a Netflix super hit, and Bubba Emu, keep your dialogue to yourself, please. Anyway, oppression. I'm not trying to oppress Bubba Emu. Have your thoughts. Keep them to yourself. This isn't the platform for that dialogue. This is a loving, beneficial place for people to feel supported. Okay, so oppression. I'm going to go to the book. I'm doing a lot of by the book today. Oppression. The message. What is holding you back at this time? It could be that you already know what it is, but you have not been able to say it out loud. It is time to acknowledge a state of entrapment that is happening in your life. This could be a negative relationship with someone, a fearful mindset, or some kind of addiction. Oppression may also indicate a lack of moderation or self-control. Know that you are fully capable of breaking free from these habits in order to look back on this time in your life with a sense of victory and relief. Something big needs to change. This card may also indicate that you're too focused on material things in life that are distracting you from your recognizing your spiritual self. Yeah, again, a lot of times we get caught up in the motions of living and getting caught up in the stress, that lack mentality, that fear mentality. It creeps in. Again, I started off saying we're in this eclipse season, and it has been a lot that we've had to process. Again, a lot of us are facing some of our behaviors that we want to change, karmic debt, past life resolution, all sorts of things that we're going through in order to release it, heal from it, and then move forward healthfully. How can I break free from the bonds that have been holding me back? Am I ready to let go? Additional meanings: ego, ignorance, dependency, temptation, debt, excess, materialism, habitual worry. Yeah, I mean, that is a lot of what the Piscean age the lessons that we've had to face so that we could evolve in our consciousness. Then we have Eight of Wands as the advice from Spirit. And the Eight of Wands, forward movement, abundance, building up that passion of the soul to create beautiful action in the world. The wands tend to be more that spiritual passion part of existence. All right, let's read from the deck because I'm feeling by the book at the moment. All right, this card of movement. This is a card of movement and transition. And if life has been feeling overwhelming, know that positive change is still very possible. Now is the time to take initiatives and grasp any potential opportunities that come your way. Once you focus on a specific task or goal, there's nothing that you cannot accomplish. It is the self-direction, determination, and confidence that comes with clarity, vision, and drive. Again, in the beginning, we said, don't move, center, wait for that divine inspiration. Then when it comes, grasp it with both hands and make the most of it. You see in this card, there's a group of people coming together in community to work, to build something. And then the moon, it takes time to evolve into being. Also, black it can be symbolic of the ancestors. So this could be you connecting with your guides, guardians, and helpers. In order to dream in projects, those wishes into being. All right, so then we got the end, Four of Cups, which fours are about stability and foundation. And in this card, a lot of times it is that you're waiting for that divine inspiration to come in, that other information that is the missing piece. Something in an emotional sense that fills your cup, So again, a lot of us have been feeling like we're in this holding pattern and we're waiting for the channel to be unlocked so that we can get on with our flow. It's very, very, very frustrating. And Baba Emu, I'm going to block you after this, just so you know. This is not how we lovingly engage with one another. So, sorry you all that I keep even acknowledging Baba Emu's comments. Strength training 101. Doing lives. You never know what's going to happen. Anyway, Four of Cups. Also, we see sometimes in this card, I'm going to give you guys the close up. This person's looking at the one cup that got knocked over and is just overly focused on that loss, not thinking about the fact that they have 3 other cups. And also, sometimes things get taken out of our lives or we have some sort of loss. You grieve it, Again, don't just is what it is and move on. Grieve the loss, but then let it go so that something new that's better suited can come in. Because a lot of times that is how life works. And then, I'm going to read the book for that one too. And then I'll wrap it up with a little bit of object discussion as opposed to abject discussion. All right, Four of Cups. It could be that you're missing out on an opportunity as you are distracted by external forces. It is a sense of restlessness and boredom which has you feeling stuck in a rut. Are there issues from your past that are weighing on your present situation? If you are fearful or indifferent about making a change, you will continue to dwell in this state of denial. Perhaps you are not seeing what is right there in front of you. You have a system of love and support in your life. How can you connect with this? What are you taking for granted? Take a moment and meditate on the things in your life that you are truly grateful for. See the positive aspects rather than focusing on negativity. You can't just go blindly being positive falsely, but at the same time, what you focus on has great impact. So if you want to just dwell on being negative, you're going to attract more negative interactions to you. When you try to be more positive, it does have that ripple effect of positivity, maybe not in every single exchange, but it builds. Additional meanings: disappointment, apathy, boredom, letting your imagination get the best of you. Yeah, in these trying times, we do get caught up in our fears, but it's a chance, especially if you look into the Scorpio placement that we were just in, it is that chance to really face those darkest aspects and alchemize them into being a source of power. It's a choice. All right. So also, I didn't know exactly why I was feeling compelled to do this, but now I see it. And that's a lot of how I have to live, is I'm just like, all right, I'm hearing that you want me to do this. Let's just do it. And then I go forth in the movement of being in the moment, and then it comes to making sense. I mean, if that's not an act of faith every single time, it's like, all right, I'm just gonna go blindly being kooky, and it does work out. So that's how I know that I'm onto something, right? All right, so along the course of my life, I've had people give me things. And at the time, I was just like, all right, well, how odd, but thank you. One of which I was given this miniature Ouija board keychain. I believe it was from my friend Jimmy, but I had a group of friends that were giving me things at the time. And so my memory does not always serve but so well, because, it gets a little muddled in there. But I believe my friend Jimmy gave me this. And it was funny because I had a huge aversion to Ouija boards. Never did I ever, as a child, want to touch one. I had no desire to communicate with the other side, so to speak, the spirit realm. I'd had a lot of movies scare the ever-loving shit out of me, and ghost stories and stuff where I was just like, la, 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 no, 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 no. So then when I started training in Reiki, I was not expecting to receive messages from people's past loved ones, or even one time I met with a pregnant woman, and actually I think 2 different times I've been able to convey messages from the unborn baby. And I wasn't expecting that in the slightest. And it took a lot of time to get comfortable. And I really did, when it started happening, and I would wake up 3 to 5 in the morning and start my meditative practice, I was creeping around the house like I was going to see something that would scare the crap out of me. And finally, in our dialogue, they're like, we want to create a loving relationship and like build something. We don't want to like make you pee yourself and faint. Like, stop it. And I was just like, okay, that makes sense. Because it's just, again, that fear that we hold on to from false perceptions. So looking back, it's that beautiful, like, my friend didn't even know, but they were helping me become more comfortable with more aspects of myself. And I really, truly, a lot of the things that initially scared the crap out of me and I tried to push away have been where my biggest strengths are. So do I understand it? No, but it's being courageous enough to push through. And I'm not saying like cuddle rattlesnakes and do things that are dangerous, but if it's something that just makes you uncomfortable, and then in the process of the doing brings you joy, that's where you really dig in. Just saying. When I started doing this work and having messages from people's past loved ones, I was scared shitless that they were going to freak the flip out on me and be upset. And then every single time I got brave enough to tell the person, it was a beautiful exchange and impactful for both of us. So that's where, again, I was just like, okay, the proof is in the pudding. Each time I meet and I let myself be vulnerable and issue forth what I've been given, it has been a blessed connection and why I keep going. But again, I do very much follow the general rules of I only want to connect what's in the highest good of all involved, because I'm only here for beneficial, loving, highest good connection. Another person, and I can't for the life of me, and if you were the person and you're watching and you gave me this Buddha, tell me. It might have been my friend Mia, but I don't remember. And again, at the time, I was like, oh, how curious. Because again, I never really chose to claim a religion. But looking back at my life, I mean, when I was about 18, I read the Tao Te Ching. I typically, when I was younger, never really went anywhere by myself. Being an empath, I found it very overwhelming being around large groups of people or going somewhere unfamiliar. So if I had somebody with me, a friend, I felt so much more secure. But one of the few times, I mean, I sound like such a mess, but I mean, we don't know why we feel how we feel, and then we vilify ourselves, or it becomes a hot mess. And then it's in the really understanding what's going on that I could become more comfortable in my own skin. Anyway, so one of the few places that I went by myself, because no one else wanted to go, was to U of R to see the Zen master speak. And the first time I went, it was, it doesn't matter. We won't go into that. But anyway, it was those moments where I went and saw all these people speak and felt that, like, yes, I really do feel what you're saying, and I love that you exist. And then I had at one point wanted to go to a Buddhist temple and meditate. And then my friend told me that I would have to sit still for 20 minutes. And I was just like, well, forget that. There's no way in hell that I could ever sit for 20 minutes. So I was just like, well, give that up. I'm not going to meditate. And then it took, I don't even know how many years for me to finally sit down and try meditating. And it really opened my mind up in a very big way. And I'll tell you, I don't sit for 20 minutes necessarily. You know, sometimes it might be I sit down for 5 minutes. I also then, through learning more about meditation, there are a lot of moving meditational practices, yoga, qigong, tai chi. But again, even sweeping your house, monks sweep. And that's their meditative practice. Washing dishes can be a meditative practice if you let it. But again, this person gave me this object, and then it, over the years, really became something that really struck a chord. And these are the ways, these little funny events in our lives, the synchronicities, if you will, or the resonance that sparks you really learning more about yourself, that you should consider. You know, and this is why I'm doing my psychometric event at Circle Thrift this upcoming Friday from 6 to 9, is so that bring me an object. We'll sit with it. I'll read the object for you psychically, maybe give you a channeled message from the object, and you can see that clue as to where to dig further into yourself, perhaps. You know, each person that I meet with, it's its own unique experience. So who knows? I never know exactly what's going to happen, but it's always beautiful. So thanks, because It is scary to be vulnerable and put yourself out there. All right, so last object before I jump off. I've been given two of these beautiful little creatures, roosters. Initially, in researching it, it came from Portugal, but in doing my research, which is how a lot of times spirit will connect with me, it's my theory, like being claircognizant, you have that tendency to love researching because you get these downloads of information, and then it's like Jeopardy where I only know the tip of the iceberg, and then I'm like, well, do I trust that information? So that leads me to looking into what I just gleaned, and then it reinforces that connection, because then I'm like, whoa, wowzers, that's cool. Like one of the, and I'm derailing myself, sorry, but one time somebody asked me to make a toner for them. So I decided, okay. And I just went into the process of the doing, and I heard to put this in it and this in it and this in it. And then after the fact, I researched it so that I could tell them all about it. And I was like, well, damn, I'm amazing. Thanks. And it's one of those things where I can't take full credit because it isn't just me. It's coming from higher consciousness, we'll say. And that's where the real magic develops. Willing to connect with what you're accessing and see it forward. You know, artists, they'll have that image in their mind. That's clairvoyance. Then they bring it into being. Musicians sometimes will hear that musical strain, bring it into being. Clairaudience. Anyway, this rooster, when I started doing my research, yes, I saw that it had connections to Portugal, but then I saw that it had a connection to Spain, and I wish I could remember his full name. Dominic of the Saint Dominic of the Causeways, but their original last name was Garcia. My grandmother's maiden name was Garcia. So it's just like, and then it led me to reading about this saint that I'd never heard about, and the region from which they had come, which I just had a 23andMe update my profile, and it showed me being from that region. So it was, again, that crazy synchronicity, and it took me getting this rooster a second time to really look into it, and it blew my mind. You know, so it's just, is it going to beat you over the head necessarily to pay attention? No. It's, again, it's subtle. Well, I mean, being given this rooster twice isn't exactly subtle, but you follow me, right? It's being willing, like Alice, to chase after the clues and see where they lead, that I have found helps me really suss out more about who I am, and what is available for me to connect with. Anyway, long-winded. I'm going to take a moment, besides some of the other chatter. Does anyone have anything they want to ask me before I jump off this connection? I'm very much here to engage in dialogue. You're welcome, White Jennifer J. Again, thank you all for being here while I wait for anything else to come through. I very much appreciate you. Creating these connections through social media and really finding people that become friends. It's been a very surprising, beautiful development, and why I keep coming back, because social media can be draining and it feels like it's its own full-time job. But thank you, Jocelyn. I will, you too. Like having these connections and then having someone tell me that I made their life better, that's worth its weight and a bazillion dollars of gold. If I were to die tomorrow, I can look at the last few years of my life and what I've gotten to do and the people I've gotten to help and connect with, and that has brought me so much joy. And I feel like at this point, it's taken 44 years to raise my freak flag all the way up and like, hello world, this is what I can do. This is who I am. Do you want to work with it? You do. So come on, people. Today's the day. Embrace yourself, love yourself, and find ways to be joyful. And then the people out there who are like, hello, I love what you're putting out. Connect more with those people. The people who drag you down and tell you that you're never going to amount to anything. No. So, hello. Look into yourself. Are you an empath? I bet you are. Do you have psychic abilities? I bet you do, because instinct isn't where it stops. We have a whole lot going on within us, and it's just a matter of faith in yourself, faith in higher consciousness, faith in that heart and soul, because you are more than a physical body. You're a whole lot more. Best wishes, all the love. Thank you for being here. Again, thank you all for your comments, and I hope you all have wonderful days, and I'm hugging you all fiercely in my mind. Even Bubba Emu. I don't know why you say this stuff, but you just need love. So here, have a little bit of moment. Love, love, love. Care Bear stare. That's what it feels like. Om Mani Padme Hum. We're all beautiful jewels in the garden of existence. In, out, and back again, flowing as it should, the energies through you, so that you can be centered and grounded and ready to fight for your right to be joyful. Go get 'em, tigers. I'll see you next time. Best wishes and all the love. Sorry, I just put my hands in your face. But best wishes, all the love.